appointments are a big deal.
Yeah, do they do it?
Basically go if you have time. Actually, there's a meeting on Thursday, I'm gonna go to that. And then I don't know what's gonna go on.
Okay.
Yeah, try to swing the Thursday.
And then at the start, the
Oh my God.
and this,
Let me see that one.
They're coming here.
stormwater thing is
No
gonna
worries.
go on for 2 years.
A few minutes off.
I did look at that, the attachment that we had.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Before I left my office, I intended to email you an attached Word file. So that email, you get, were you copied?
Hi.
Right to
Hi.
everybody that I had? Okay, so I have like several pages. In many cases, you'll be able to just copy and paste, copy and paste. But I didn't want us to be here all night.
Yeah,
reading
that's
through all
fine.
this
A lot of
geological
changes,
jargon.
or?
Yeah, because it's all this geology words.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like,
I thought it picked up a lot of good
nice
ones.
spelled, nice,
I caught it.
N-I-C-E versus G, but there were two places.
Okay,
You know,
all right,
there's so
that's
many,
all right, that's all
there's
right.
so many words, not gonna catch them all with your eyes, you know, unless you're reading them specifically for that. So mostly like minor things, movements,
Okay,
but I typed it all.
perfect.
So I'll send you that, so that'll at least hopefully keep us from reviewing 10 pages.
And if you send it to me tonight, I can have it done tomorrow morning.
Look at
and
the
then
fancy
post
little
the
no stapler.
minutes. You know,
I
once
like
they're
that.
heading, you
As
know,
soon as I
they're.
get internet, in fact, I could probably just use my
Like
iPad as a hotspot.
crimping it.
And, you know, do that.
Well, you should get internet here.
Okay, you need a password?
I like that.
The password is our phone number, 610-867-358. 610-867-358.
I just need it for now.
I'm not gonna remember.
329. Think about it.
Or post it, or, wait 1 second.
There's a poster right
It is?
Yep. 610.
Can we copy this quick?
867.
Can we just print it out or copy it?
3291.
Copy this
Sorry.
quick?
329.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I don't know, is there a copier that we can
291.
take
You got
advantage
it.
of?
Thank you.
Then Drew, I'm ready whenever you are. I'm all set.
Give me a minute, everyone. You could continue with the conversation as you need. I just got to email something to Carol to make things better for her.
Hello, Alan.
And if everybody could remember to speak into the, I put that one right in front of you, Chad.
Resting, okay.
But turn on the microphone. That one's turned on, Chad. But the
This
others,
one's
as
good.
you speak.
I can hear that one.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
That one's
I'm very
good.
well. How are you? Good. You excited for school to start?
Nope.
I started yesterday. It was my first
Just the
day.
numbers or with hyphens?
I did. Well, I was going to say
And the phone
yesterday.
number?
Yesterday.
Just the numbers,
hyphen or
just the number.
numbers?
Mhm.
Okay.
Nothing was done while on the phone.
I start Monday.
I think I put my minutes in here 10 times. Good share.
I don't bring my computer to.
Did you?
And that network is Lower Saucon, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not liking me. Let me just check I can use my iPad as a hotspot, I think.
Did you just get back?
Yes.
Oh, something's working, okay.
Well,
Did you get it?
I think so.
Okay. It probably just took a second.
It's that time of year.
It's a single man. There's two of them. There's a sole garage right there.
Where?
Right off, you know, where the gas station is. Smack it.
Okay, it's a Word file, so it should make it most easy for you to copy and paste if you want to do that.
one,
Okay,
the one
thank you.
by Pops, the one,
Before you get
what area is this there? Like Dennis
Right, one second.
on
It's,
the Exxon,
excellent, yeah.
down in there.
Okay, so I'm gonna call the meeting to order and begin with a roll call. Drew Germanowski, I'm here. Jennifer Helton,
Here.
Laura Ray,
Here.
Tom Carochi, Candace Burke, Alan Johnson,
Here,
Cheyenne Reedman, no, Kathy McGovern,
Here.
Janine Bonham,
It's okay, here. One of those is here.
Chad Heidecker,
Here.
Russell Sutton. Here. Winfield Clark. Carol Schneider. Okay, very good, thank you. So let's begin as usual with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, there was no executive session. Brings us to open space. The open space subcommittee did meet immediately prior to this meeting, just to finalize our scores on a property that we evaluated in July. It is property number 2024, number 2. Oh, that wasn't on. Okay. Should I reiterate all of that, or we're okay?
No, I think I'll be able to.
Okay. So the property, I'll go through the list of the categories that we score properties on and what the scores were. We were in agreement on everything. So development potential, we scored it 5 out of 5. Linkage potential, 2 out of 2, because it is a stone's throw away from a property that we preserved as a township through our open space program. And then it's also adjacent to Bechtel's Orchard, which is preserved through the county program. It is an active farm. It has an orchard on it and horse grazing fields. It scores, so that's 3 out of 3 for that. Linkage potential, if I didn't say, was 2 out of 2. Ag soils, it does have state defined agricultural soils of significance, so it scores 1 out of 1. Hydrological features, there were no true hydrologic features on the property, so it scores 0 out of 3. Sensitive natural features, those include things like steep slopes greater than 8%, woodlands, floodplain, rock outcroppings. It did not have any sensitive natural features, so it scores 0 out of 3. It was entirely underlain by carbonate rock, so it scores 3 out of 3. We agreed it had great scenic value, so we scored it 2 out of 2. And it has stormwater mitigation potential as undeveloped open space. We scored it 1 out of 1. And so that scores 17 out of 23. Just as a reminder to the other members of the EAC, we've never had a threshold number that a property had to score in order to be recommended or to fail recommendation. We generally thought of it in the collective. Certainly, a very low score has in the past led us not to recommend. So this scored 17 out of 23. We felt that the categories in which it scored high were significant, and therefore we're recommending to the EAC to recommend to preserve this space through our open space program to council. And if anybody has any comments or concerns, this would be a moment to share them before we would have a vote. And because this is coming from a subcommittee, Robert's rules dictates that work coming out of a committee doesn't require a second because a number of people comprise that committee. So unlike other motions, we normally have a motion made, requires a second. This coming out of committee doesn't require a second.
And what number was that for, just for my clarification?
That was property 24-2, 2024, property number 2.
Okay.
Initials were AK, if that helps, to make sure that we're perfectly clear. So hearing no dissension or other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, carries unanimously, Carol. Okay, thank you on that. And then just point of information, the Open Space Committee is scheduled to visit and score another property tomorrow. And then we have another one, a third one that we're trying to find time. So to the rest of the EAC Open Space Subcommittee, watch your emails tonight, tomorrow. I will send an email around. I'm gonna try to target next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. See how many of us can meet any of those. And then I'm gonna reach out to the property representatives again and see if we can match a time next Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, okay? Okay, so that completes the open space portion of the agenda. And then the next item of business is new business. It's the 2024 annual monitoring report of the Reman property, the conservation easement on the Reman property. And that information is provided with a call to meeting. It is on the back side of the agenda is the way it showed up in my file. So that information is there for us. I don't know. All we basically do is receive that report, unless there's some reason to discuss it.
My only question was, why did we just get a one page, but the two other properties had pictures and?
Wait, say this again, I'm sorry. Oh, the other one had a more extensive report.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
This will be our third that we've gotten.
That's what we got in.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up. The point of this, the heading, 2024 annual monitoring report for one easement? It's just for one
Yeah,
person?
the Heritage Conservation, they're the second,
They're like the third-party holder on the conservation easement, so
every year they go out and
their
monitor.
role is to go every year and evaluate, they check the property and make sure it's,
Still what
nothing's
it's
odd
supposed
happening there that goes against
to. I see.
what was in their particular easement.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jennifer, I apologize, I see it says 1 of 8, but this is all I got. So I'll look into it and see what other pages
Yeah.
might have been, and then I'll just forward on to everybody, but this
Okay.
is all I got.
Yeah, and it's
Sorry.
normally fine. It's just good to know, because this is information, but I did look this up, and it's not far from.
Yeah, it's down
Your
on
property.
Springtown Hill Road.
Yeah.
That's where Han's property was.
Oh, is that where that is?
And Carol, would you like to back up, would you like a copy of the score sheet?
Sure, that
Yeah.
would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the file then.
Changes, they
Thank you.
haven't built something on it or not maintained.
Do you want me to make a copy?
But
I'll
these
make
are
a
just
copy of it.
informational purpose for us. We don't have to act on it at all.
Oh,
No, but if there was a condition where maybe the property, and they may come back to us and say, we're observing this, we recommend that, we would maybe wanna work with them, but I don't think there's ever been a
It
case.
really wouldn't even.
Maybe if it
come to
violates it, but it's
EAC.
not, and that's not noted on here at all, right? There's a pass-fail of this kind of? Is there a,
I don't know, this is the first year, right, that we've seen,
Yeah, we never got them before, not that I'm aware of.
yeah. I mean, I think it's good.
So, and this is for their purposes, I believe, than
No,
ours. I think they're just putting us in the loop and informing us. Is that your perception, Laura Ray?
Yeah.
how many acres is that property you inspected, the one you're just talking about?
This one's 4.3
Oh, no,
acres.
he's talking about
This one.
the open space.
Oh, the open space one
Yeah.
was, I should have said that, 19.7 acres.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's in a different category on the page, and I just didn't look into that box. But yeah, that's a good question. Something always worth considering as well, because over the years, we've had quite a range of scales of properties, including less than an acre, believe it or not. Sometimes it's mattered. Sometimes we've recommended it because it was at a trailhead or something, for example. So sometimes a very small parcel can have significance in that respect, but many cases they do not. Okay.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
say, this particular property is in two parts. Part of it's in Bucks County and part of it is in Lower Saucon Township. So I'm thinking this 4.32 acres is probably only the part that's in Lower Saucon Township. Because I think the overall property is more than 4.32 acres.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I vaguely remember, yeah, and then scoring that property, now that I'm thinking it through, it's a bigger parcel.
Yeah, it was like an old Boy Scout camp or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
okay. Okay, very good. Moving on, the next item was a developer item, which we received plans as we usually do for a development item. In this case, the development item was a billboard. So there are there's billboard profile details and so forth. And from my view, I'll just say from my view, I didn't see any issues here of EAC issues per se. So I open the discussion to the rest of the committee if there are issues here.
I actually didn't go through it. I just assumed, is that a replacement sign or it's a new sign?
It's a new sign.
They want a new one up there?
And I don't,
Is this on 378?
yes, where the fire station is.
Okay.
And so I went by there and I took a picture of, I think it's Blake Construction as a comparison. And this map was hard to read. So I didn't even know what they were trying to do. But right now, just so you know, my phone's a little dirty. I'm showing my phone, and this is the sign that's there for that barbecue. And it's just a little kind of,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So, sorry, it's just a sign on wheels.
Yeah.
And then the property butts up, and it's in a floodplain, which is fine. But my question was, just for comparison, not that it matters, if it would be similar to this size. And I couldn't tell from the information that was
Right.
provided. And this is one by Blake Construction. Sorry.
The only thing that I noticed is it seems like Black River is nearby. I see on the drawing here the words Black River, but there's not a lot of additional markings that I can see.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
so
mean.
it's just north of Walter Street.
And
So I don't see any issues other than,
Is it an electronic sign?
yeah, LED. It is.
So light
That's
issue.
why,
well, I think it fits within the
Ordinance.
township's ordinance as far as hours of lighting and so forth.
yeah.
Okay.
It's 25 feet high.
Yeah, it's a big sign, and I guess I almost, this sounds like a cynical perspective perhaps, but I sort of felt like that area is kind of Sign City already.
That's kind of where a sign belongs.
Yeah.
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 Does that have anything to do with the guardrail there?
And the other thing to point out is we usually have, in the past, with any developer items, either if we felt that to evaluate a proposal on an environmental basis, we would either request more information when we had specific concerns, or certainly if we felt that there were environmentally adverse issues right up front, we could recommend to council that they not approve it. And then, of course, it's up to council to make a decision based on all of the various criteria that council might take into consideration for something beyond environmental concerns. But I personally didn't have any reason to say this is a problem and here's why environmentally.
Do they have to remove any of those trees?
Yeah, I don't know if they do. I didn't take note of that here. It would.
There's a power pole right there where that's where it would go.
Yeah.
And so that's another question. What trees are environmentally significant? Are all trees environmentally significant? Or in some cases, it's part and parcel of doing something like this?
Drew, I did give you a big map so that you could spread it out.
It would be.
And right under your packet there? You wanna
Very
look at
helpful.
Oh, you did have one?
It's very hard
Oh,
to see.
there's one I buried in.
These plots can be hard when they're on an 8.5
Here
by
we
11.
go, okay.
Impossible to figure out.
So here is the large paper version of what we all received electronically. I'm gonna very quickly see if it says, what it says about anything regarding to
Vegetation.
any trees or,
Yeah, I can't read this.
I gave up. I expected it.
It's
I
like
don't,
when you make
they
one
don't make
section
that
big,
clear
it's
in
like,
the
now I don't
notes,
even know where I
certainly.
am on the map.
And so I will put this, sort of, you can pass it down the table in several steps to see if anybody that has questions can discern from the map whether you view them as substantial.
See if you can see where it says Black River on
At the north end of it?
there. Down, it's like down, just down below where the sign is.
Where's
It's
that
where
power?
the magistrate, I think, is on Walter Street.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right? I think, yeah, where the magistrate is down there, Kathy.
That's the barbecue sign. This is the power pole that's there already.
And that's where it would go.
Yeah.
One question you might be able to see on that answer from that map is they do have a reference to the 100-year floodplain. So somewhere on that map, whether the sign is in the 100-year floodplain or not, may be relevant.
These codes here, that's floodplain. See where it says FP? And it's also over here.
And based on, I would say, based on the
And all up
plan
here.
view of the plan view building design for that particular billboard, I don't see any issues of putting a structure of that sort on the 100-year floodplain.
Yeah.
And I say that because the support structure wouldn't
Yeah,
be sufficient enough to impact water flow
yeah.
or anything of that nature.
Oh, that's,
I agree.
so that's like, this is where the barbecue sign is right there.
Yeah, it's way up
Right there.
from where that is.
Oh, FP, does that mean floodplain?
So like right here,
By the telephone pole.
that's this.
Is it using the telephone pole?
Well, it's like right in the floodplain.
It's probably gonna pull electricity a bit off of it. Yeah.
But who doesn't think it's a problem, so.
What
Here's
do
the
you
street
use
light,
it, Jen, on
PP now,
billboards
street
mostly?
light,
Yeah.
so.
Vertical.
Big foundation and,
Yeah.
they move a lot of dirt around to build a foundation.
So do we have concerns, or do we sometimes in these cases just simply have no comment?
I say no comment.
There's no reason for us to recommend anything to council, so I would suggest that we leave this as a no comment issue. Okay, so then, if that's the case, we move forward to public comment. Is there any public, there's a member of the public here? You have, okay. Updates, reports. Item A, EAC membership. So I think everybody here recalls the issue at hand regarding membership is that 2 of the members, voting members of this committee, have not attended any of our meetings during 2024. Our bylaws say that regarding attendance of members, that the chairman of his or her own may, or a majority of the voting members present at any scheduled advisory council meeting may vote to notify any EAC member or associate who is absent from any 4 consecutive regular monthly EAC meetings, or who is absent from 6 regular monthly meetings during any 12-month period without reasonable cause. The notification, and this is to basically remove the person from the EAC for non-feasance. That's ultimately where this goes. So the notification shall be written. It should include a summary of the members' or associates' attendance record, and request the person to reply in writing within 20 calendar days or appear in person at the next regular monthly EAC meeting, whichever occurs sooner. So in this case, we sent notification to members Ann Spirk and Tom Carochi that they have been not in attendance, which I'm sure they realized, and they had 2 opportunities to respond. One was in writing within 20 days. That did not happen, nor did they attend the next meeting, which happened in July after notification. So non-feasance, in essence, includes a failure to perform one's duties. In this case which is to attend these meetings and participate. So with that as background, I move that we recommend to council that these 2 voting members be removed from the EAC, and that we vote to recommend 2 voting replacement members in their stead. Those members' term will, in essence, in any similar replacement scenario, will simply fill out the duration of Ann Spirk and Tom Carochi's term on this committee. So that's a motion on the floor.
I second your motion.
Does anybody have comment or discussion, or are we ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
To facilitate council's performance of their duties, I think it is possible and appropriate for us to consider recommending to council elevating 2 associate members to full voting member status. Ultimately, the reason for removing these 2 members is to get people here who have voting status so that we can perform our duties as a committee from month to month. So again, what we would do in this case, we can't have written private votes, so this has to go on the public record. So does anybody, so what we'll do is first, someone from the committee, a voting member, nominate a person, and then we get a second for that, and then vote that person in or not, and we have 2 seats to fill, okay? So does anybody want to make a recommendation?
I'd like to move that Kathy be moved up to one of the voting positions. Do you accept?
Do we want to clarify when their
Yes.
terms end? Because I don't
Say
recall.
again, what their terms
When
are?
each terms end, so
12 of 25,
I think
I think.
Tom would have ended this year,
12,
maybe,
24.
and is,
And I don't know, I don't
yeah,
have that
that should be
information.
on the
website.
Should be on the website, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll look quick. That's it.
Carochi, 12,
Let's see.
31, 24.
Both of them had the same.
Okay, both of them expire this
See, I
year?
think we have something wrong with
Okay.
their dates.
The other thing, I guess, just for point of information, in case this is an issue of concern, normally what we've done is, I believe, and correct me, Carol or Laura Ray, if I'm wrong about this, normally once you're voted in as a voting member, the township simply contacts you to see if you wish to remain a voting member of the committee. So when your term expires, that doesn't generate a vote for this committee to make a new recommendation to council. Just for the sake of
I recall
anyone who's not sure of that.
the planning committee was like that. You know, when your term expires, you get a letter that says to notify them if you do not want to continue. Otherwise, you'll continue,
Right.
so.
Okay, is there any discussion regarding the nomination of Kathy Pitchell? I would simply say that Kathy's been an exceptionally active member of this committee and has been quite helpful to this committee.
I agree.
So I will
Are we
second
ready to
that.
call the question and
I was
vote?
gonna say I'll second the nomination.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank
That's
you.
unanimous, Carol. So we still have a seat. Does anybody have another nomination from the, I feel reluctant as chair of the committee to nominate people, just so you understand.
So the important part to me is who is the person who thinks they're pretty good with attendance, so that we don't end up with the lack of quorum issue. So that's a key thing. I think everybody else we have on our committee is pretty environmentally minded
Yes.
person.
And
So,
committed,
to me, I wouldn't have a qualm no matter who, so maybe amongst yourselves, if you wanna talk
The other
about
thing to be aware of too is oftentimes we think about how long someone has served as an associate. That's not a requirement, and the people who are associates, as it turns out, at this point, all joined the committee in
pretty
roughly
close
the
to
same time. Yeah,
And
same
we don't-
year.
Winfield isn't here, and neither is,
I'm sorry?
Winfield isn't here, and neither is Cheyenne.
Right.
She's a
So-
voting member.
Already a
She's
voting
already a
member.
voting member.
I
Cheyenne is,
apologize,
yeah.
but in that case anyways, maybe we should have more discussion on this when there's other members in attendance on this.
I think-
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
wanna
I
hold
think
it up.
we want to take it to
We
council
have
sooner
voting
than
members
later.
here. The other two members aren't, Cheyenne's a voting member, but we have a quorum. I think it best that we move forward here and tidy this up. I think frankly, as Laura said, we have several people who are active and busy and responsible and have shown an environmental ethic. And I believe we can self-nominate. I don't see any reason we can't. And I don't think anyone should be embarrassed to do so. In some ways it could, shouldn't say too much, but it could be a measure of a person's willingness to perform their responsibilities. We could also
Trying to twist my arm
nominate
behind the back.
Winfield in his absence. Nominate Winfield in his absence, and he could ultimately simply decline, but, so.
Well, if there's a need in the township, I'd like to help.
So you wish to self-nominate?
If
Okay,
that's,
I'll second that.
He's not a voting member.
I'm not a voting member yet.
Yeah, that's what we need, voting members.
So I guess a voting member should make the nomination.
I'll
knowing that-
nominate Chad to be,
Yes, knowing that we
Move to.
have a willing, capable person.
yeah, well,
I will
that's key.
second that
We need
nomination.
willingness.
Okay, any discussion, or are we ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So, Carol, I think it's clear that we're recommending to council, first of all, that Mr. Carochi and Mrs. Burke be removed from this committee as voting members, and that Chad and Kathy both be elevated to voting member status. Okay, very good. Thank you, everybody.
That's exciting.
It'll make
Moving
it
things forward.
a little bit less stressful every Monday when Carol's trying to see if we have a quorum. And may I make a statement off the record?
Sure.
I'm going to make a statement off the record, and we now have a vast majority of voting members that have a demonstrated environmental ethic. That's an improvement in and of itself. Okay, back on the record. Alan, your item is next on the agenda, the Climate Action Plan update. You had Carol forward to all of us the document. I have to just move around my computer to get to it, but if you wish to speak to that, you have the floor.
Okay, you want to turn this thing around? So, I have a couple of things to say. First of all, Laura, I'm under the understanding that Chad and myself and Russell have been appointed as representatives to Act 167 and climate
Action.
climate action. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so,
As kind of backups to each other too, not that you all have to attend all the things, but so we could have somebody.
I thought you said that in case, you know, if somebody doesn't go, somebody else can go.
Right, that's what I mean, like you kind of back each other up, not that all three of you have to attend all these
Yeah.
committee meetings.
But
So,
just to be clear, at the last EAC meeting, you nominated Alan and only Alan, correct?
That's
But
how I
we
remember.
did discuss all three of them.
But you
Yes.
nominated Alan, that's what I have in the minutes, I believe. So I just want to be clear, because I know Russ called today asking that too. So, the same question, so I just want to be clear.
And we can clarify, it is open to the public, so anybody,
Right.
all of us could attend if we wanted to.
Right.
I mean, anybody not in the AC, it's open to the public, it's.
Right.
So, but it's just kind of like, we need somebody that can report back to
Point of contact.
us, yeah, that's all.
And so anybody of us can serve as an informal point
Yeah,
of
if you
contact.
wanna go and,
It's-
Right.
It's actually the conveyance of information that's really
Correct.
most important to us.
right.
I just need to know when the meetings are.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if
let me
they're-
tell you, let me get started here. I sent an email telling you that the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission website, lvpc.org, is the website. That's where all the information is. And then when you go to that website, the tab that says environmental, click on that, and it'll open up a list. And then you click on nature plus water, and that'll take it to the Act 167 information. So far, there hasn't been anything done with the climate action, with the global climate action. In other words, the second phase of the climate action plan. That hasn't started yet. So there's no website for that, and there's nothing up there for that. All right, so we got that worked out. So what did I find out? I went to the meeting. And I got this workshop LV water presentation. But before we go there, I want to talk about something else, which is all part of this. The way what's going to happen here is that the LVPC is going to do a big study that's going to include all the municipalities in Lehigh County and Northampton County, and all the watersheds in Lehigh County and Northampton County. Now, the watersheds I'm talking about are the ones that have been delineated by the state of Pennsylvania as part of the Act 167 study. So, maybe I better go to this. This here I also think was emailed to you. All right, if you look on there, under Lower Saucon Township, you'll see that there are parts of 3 watersheds in Lower Saucon Township. Catasauqua watershed, Saucon watershed, and Fry's Run. Now, Fry's Run is definitely different. They gave the name, like when they say Fry's Run, what they really mean is the Fry's Run study. Now, the Fry's Run study includes, I got some stuff here to give to people. You can give that to Russell, so he can give that to the people in Steel City. And I wanted to give it one to Kathy, because she lives down there.
Thank you.
And I'll give this to Laura later. I want to look at it myself. So, the Catasauqua watershed, there's only a small part of it in Lower Saucon Township. The Saucon Creek watershed, there's a lot of it in Lower Saucon Township, but not all of it. Some of it goes, over the border down towards Coopersburg and further down the line. And then there's the Fry's Run study. Now, let me see if I can find.
I'm just a little bit perplexed in a way. When I think about Catasauqua Creek watershed, I'm not sure how any of it is in Lower Saucon Township. That perplexes me. Because it drains into the Lehigh River,
Well, it
which is on
doesn't-
the other, is not in our township doesn't extend across the Lehigh River.
Yeah.
So that one just sort of confuses me.
Well, the Catasauqua, you have to look at the maps. The Catasauqua watershed circles around Bethlehem. And from looking at the map, as much as I can figure out, the part of Lower Saucon Township that's up against Fountain Hill, right around there's a little section of the Catasauqua watershed that covers a little bit of Lower Saucon Township.
That's not the watershed itself. I don't want to be argumentative.
Well, it's not it's what.
Topographically, the watershed.
I know, but what you gotta get through is, it is the areas that have been delineated by the state of Pennsylvania in the Act 167 Stormwater Program Study.
Okay.
It's what they did.
Zone 2.
So you got.
Catasauqua Creek one,
So it does, they draw the boundary into Lower
all
Saucon.
the way down into here.
Yeah, okay, so it's not the watershed itself.
Not
it's
geographic, not geography, or
Right,
it includes the Catasauqua Creek,
Okay,
but it also includes part of the land around it, I guess. too.
okay, I
That's
get
how it gets
But
down.
it's not- we're technically, we're geologically,
Township.
physiographically not in none of this Catasauqua watershed is actually.
But,
I
you
get
know,
it.
legally, or whatever you wanna call it, we are.
Okay.
So we're in that one a little bit. And now what that means is, when the Act 167 study gets completed and a model ordinance for the Catasauqua watershed has been created and approved by everybody, that means if any development happens in Lower Saucon Township, in that little bit of area that is included in the Catasauqua Creek watershed, then that is the ordinance that has to be applied to that development for stormwater regulations. So the same thing happens for the other two watersheds. Any development that occurs in the Saucon Creek watershed, the part that's in Lower Saucon Township, the model ordinance that they come up with for Lower Saucon Township, for the Saucon Creek watershed, Lower Saucon Township will have to utilize that ordinance in those developments that are in the area that they call the Saucon Creek watershed in Lower Saucon Township. We don't care what happens further down the line. That's some other municipality's problem. So, getting over to the third one, which is Fry's Run. Fry's Run. Now, I'm gonna look through here so I can get the right words.
Fry's Run is like parallel to the Delaware, it's on 611, correct? I'm pretty sure.
It crosses 611, it begins down in, I could see maybe the headwaters being right around Pector Hill, which would be right on the Williams, Lower Saucon boundary. So
Okay,
Fry's Run
this is
goes
what I'm looking
east-west,
for.
Or west-east
This
into the river.
table that's in here. It's like all the way to the back. Now, the formal correct title is Fry's Run dash Delaware River Subbasin 2 plus Lehigh River Subbasin 5. All of those watersheds, geographical watersheds, are included in the Fry's Run study area. So, this thing that I passed out here, on there it says Freemansburg. You see that, Russell
Yes.
and Kathy?
Yes.
Well, that's not correct. Freemansburg is over to the left, on the other side of that black line.
Right,
Underneath the area where it says Freemansburg, that's where Steel City is.
yeah, it's considered.
Yeah. So Steel City is located between the Lehigh River and that bridge that's behind Steel City. The boundary of the watershed is on top of that ridge. And so, and then it goes out. You see that dashed line that goes straight up and down? Well, that's the Lower Saucon Township border with Williams Township. So for our purposes, it goes all the way out to there. Now that includes what is it, Bears Run or whose run?
Bull.
Oh,
Bull Run.
Bull Run.
That includes Bull Run.
Yeah.
And since Bull Run runs through Kathy's property, it includes Kathy's property. And it includes the road, what's that road that goes down?
Apple butter.
The one that goes down, Reddington Road in your parents' farm, you know, is included in this Fry's Run study.
Okay.
That's why, and if you look
I
If
knew
you look
that.
on the second page, the key shows you what the different spotted areas mean.
If you look at the report that Alan's shared with us, and you look on page 12 of that 24-page report, where it says Act 167 Watersheds of the Lehigh Valley, if you zoom in anywhere on there, one of the things you immediately recognize is that these report boundaries are not watershed boundaries in a hydrologic sense. So the basis by which they drew these isn't clear to me, but don't get caught up and frustrated with the fact that Bull Run is not part of the Fry's Run watershed from a hydrologic standpoint, but it's grouped in there. These boundaries transcend watershed boundaries in every case.
Bull Run is part of the Lehigh River Subbasin 5 watershed. It's not part of what'd you say the name of that stream was?
Fry's Run.
Fry's Run. Fry's Run goes into the Delaware.
Right.
So it's part of the Delaware watershed. Part of that's why I wanted you to look at this page. Part of the Delaware River Subbasin 2. Now the other thing that I want to make you aware of, Russell, is that you will see that Fry's Run study area includes a large area on the north side of the river. So all those municipalities over there, including parts of the city of Easton, they're all part of it. So they're all going to be involved with following it and comments or whatever. So I just want to let you know that it's not just you guys.
Right.
All right? So, what else?
These boundaries seem a little arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I don't see where, they don't make clear here what the criteria is they use for their boundaries. What's ironic is they have a slide here, a page that says watershed primer, an area of land that drains to a single point such as a creek or river, and then they show a standard cartoon diagram of a watershed.
Do you know how to
But then
decipher
their
these
boundaries
maps?
do not match them. What's that?
Do you know how to decipher those maps? You
Say
see
one
those?
more time?
You know how to decipher that? You see those? There's little areas, and each one has a number.
Right.
That is a sub watershed of the big overall watershed.
Right. Now technically,
And the reason they do that is because they have calculated the stormwater runoff in each one of those little sub watersheds. And as you can see from this other chart, that was done back in 2006,
I saw that.
a long time ago. And before that, it was done in 1997. So I'm sure that nowadays, with all the development that's taken care of, that's happened everywhere, and the new modern models that we have and computer calculations, all of those figures will be probably redrawn and recreated. So I wanted to let you know that. Now this here is just a blow up of the part of this that shows Steel City. So I made this up for Russell. If you take that map, which is at the end of the Fry's Run study area watershed plan that was written back, or that was updated back in 2006, and you go all the way down to the bottom, that's where that map is. It's part of the report that was done back in 2006. All right, so now that everybody understands that, we can look at this. So I think the most important thing here to look at is the purpose and goals, which are on purpose and goals.
Page 5.
Yeah, page 5. Down. Create consistent, up-to-date stormwater ordinance, including green infrastructure and water balance standards, PA/DEP post-construction stormwater management measures, and climate change considerations. So there's going to be climate change considerations included in this Act 167 study. Next one, coordinate with all 62 municipalities, county conservation districts, equity communities, interested groups, and PA/DEP. Well, that's a job for LVPC. They have a lot of coordinating to do, but they're good at that. Update hydrological analysis to reevaluate the runoff control standards. Establish baseline water quality analysis for all 15 watersheds for MS4 planning. Now, if nobody knows what MS4 means, that means municipal separate storm sewer systems. So here in Lower Saucon Township, we do have some separate storm sewer systems, mostly I think over on the west side of Hellertown. I don't think we have any out where we live, except maybe on Sower Creek Road, maybe. But anyway, that's for other people to figure out.
So can I ask you a question? The Springtown people were here, right? And we were discussing how we were gonna reevaluate what they had done, how many years ago it was when you did, is that right? Mm-hmm. So is that all part of, would that eventually be part of this, or is that something separate?
Well, as part of that discussion, Drew suggested that we do a watershed, what did you call it? A watershed analysis of Lower Saucon Township, especially our area where we live around here, and make that like a township job, township.
I don't remember.
When Springtown was here.
I'm sorry?
When Springtown was here.
Right, but I think that I was recommending to the Springtown representatives that they reach out to, officially to our township, to take consideration of wellhead protection or springhead protection in that case as part of the Cook Creek.
I thought you said you were gonna talk to your buddy at Lehigh University.
I just have a note here to myself.
And get
just
together
first
with
to check
him.
with him to see if they did that for the Hellertown water supply as a point of information, and then see where that conversation might lead.
Okay, well, that's what I remembered anyway. So we'll see what happens, you know. We all thought it was a good idea to do a watershed analysis of especially this part of Lower Saucon Township, since we have, all of us have wells and on septic systems, and Hellertown watershed is here, and all kinds of things going on.
I think that's for us to recommend anything along those lines, we should have a more comprehensive discussion about it, because what we would, in essence, be recommending the township council is to devote a significant amount of financial resources to do a study similar to what Springtown did. That will not be inexpensive. It will be very expensive to do that at our township scale, in part because we do have several watersheds within the township. And whereas I agree that water quality is very important, the township council may not feel that it is as important to fund such an expensive endeavor as it is to, say, the Cooks Creek people who have a water supply that they rely on, and likewise Hellertown, which has a discrete water supply that they're providing, whereas most of this township water supply is more diffuse insofar as their individual wells in most cases. I think the western part of our township gets water supply from a municipal water supply that's actually, the water itself is derived outside of all of our watersheds, all of the watersheds that are within the township. So it just, this I think is something, if we want to put it on an agenda and really discuss this, we should do some fact gathering and make it a sort of new business item where we do some background work and then have a comprehensive discussion. And one of the background works is free. It's just me contacting my colleague Frank at Lehigh, who is on the Water Authority Board for Hellertown Water Supply. So in 5 minutes, I'll know whether they've conducted a study or whether they're considering such a study. But I think it's a conversation we could have.
Yeah, we can work on that, you know, later if everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
So what's on the next page here? Okay, population. One of the reasons that population is so important is that the more people we have in the Lehigh Valley, the more houses they want to build. The more houses they want to build, the more what is it? Where the water can't get in the ground, what do they call it?
Oh,
Permeable surface.
to reduce recharge, groundwater recharge.
Impervious.
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 The more impervious coverage there is, whenever they do any kind of development, they increase the impervious coverage. So therefore, you get more stormwater runoff instead of it being absorbed. So that's why they have that in there. Stream water quality review. Well, they list what streams in the Lehigh and Northampton County are high quality for fish. You can look at that. You can read that. Stream water quality overview. Another map of the same thing. Watershed primer was a small example of that. Watershed drainage areas. What she was trying to show here is that, you know, throughout the United States, they have all these watershed areas divided up into watersheds, and they have them in huge watersheds and then smaller divisions of the huge into semi-huge, and then it goes all the way down till it gets down to where we are, the watershed level. You have region, sub-region, basin, sub-basin, watershed where we are, and then those little things on the map that I showed you, Drew, those are the sub-watersheds. We're down here level 6, I guess, or level 5 and level 6. And the woman who is in charge of this study, her name is Susan. I don't know if I have her last name. Susan Myeroff. She is well known in the water area in Pennsylvania, you know, water quality, water streams, water everything. So she's a very knowledgeable person, according to what they've told us. Watersheds of the Lehigh Valley. There you go. They're all drawn out for you there. And you can see how Catasauqua, which is number 2, wraps around and just touches the top part of Lower Saucon over there, all the way on the west side. So they give you an example here of how they did. Oh, what I wanted to say is that a number of the past watershed studies are all published on that website. And I read through to get learn a lot of the stuff that I learned. So if you want to know a lot of the details, they explain everything in there. Their philosophy, their strategy, everything about why they are doing, why they have done the watershed stormwater studies in the past the way they did them. There might be changes in the future, I don't know, we'll have to see.
And you had said a lot of them were pretty old though, right?
Well, yeah, if you look at this list.
The Saucon one was from 91.
Yeah, 91. So, but they still seem to be following the same, form and strategy. Because stormwater has been here since 1991. In fact, Act 167 was written in 1978. So that's when it was first written, when they first started worrying about stormwater to the point where they had to write a law about it. So I think I learned a lot by reading it, even though it's that old.
Well, Alan shared this with us all, so we could all look through these slides, and I encourage all of us to do that.
And there's one more big point that I want to make. If you see, in the back here, county responsibilities, it says consult with municipalities through the Watershed Plan Advisory Committee. Now, every one of these ordinances that they came up, and these studies that they did in the past, they always had a Watershed Plan Advisory Committee for each one, and the people on that committee were usually engineers from the various engineering companies here in the Lehigh and Northampton counties. There has to be one for each municipality. That means that Lower Saucon Township is going to have to select one. And I suppose it'll be Hanover Engineers, because they are the ones that have been doing all the watershed, they're the ones that have been determining what the current watershed ordinances that we have, how they have been applied to the developments in our township in the past. So that's what I think.
Are they taking in account the climate changes and the differentials in rainfalls that we've had as
Can you
opposed to?
turn the mic over to him?
I think the analysis will take into consideration all those things. If you read the ordinances that I'm talking about,
Right.
they address just about everything that has to do with rainwater and stormwater that you can think of, things that I never knew about.
The
Read
1991,
that stuff and you'll learn it.
for the watershed here, they have columns for flow 1, 5, 10, 50, and 100 years. So I don't know if those values have changed since 1991 in the predictions of what or how much.
Because the 100-year storms are now like every year.
Well, so maybe some of the calculations need to be revised.
Right.
But then what is this going to do if, these plans that come out that the township has to adopt new ordinances to control the storm runoff and enforcement of that then?
Possibly.
So.
Well, according to what I read in the stuff that I read, it seems that, first of all, the ordinance, the model ordinance, will be reviewed by the township. Then if they okay it, and it goes to the county. And if the county okays it, it goes to the state. And then the state occurs it, then it becomes like, you know, legal, I guess. But the enforcement thing, if I got it right, what they're gonna do is they give the township, not just our township, but the municipalities, the opportunity to enforce, whenever they have a development, to enforce the ordinances, you know, for their watershed, in their town, in their municipality. And if they don't do it, they give them a couple warnings. And if they still don't do it, they cut them off from all money. Federal money and state money. Grants, you know, we're always looking for grants. So that's a pretty big stinger, but, you know, it probably isn't gonna go that far. I don't think so.
Thank you for that.
The only question that I would have for the whole thing, we as a committee made the choice to have a person go to attend the meeting. Based on what he just presented, is it our responsibility to tell the council or tell Hannibal Engineering what they're planning to do? And so Hannibal Engineering has a heads up? Or is that something that comes way above the EAC?
Well, Ellen and I kind of had a long conversation about this while I was traveling through Connecticut. And I mean, my thought would be Hanover should be well aware of all this stuff. I would like to discuss it at council to, you know, see and make sure that they have something in place that our
They're ready to
engineers
go.
will be going. I mean, it's still good for us to keep our ears and involvement in it as well, but I would imagine they have to be. I mean, because everything that had to do with, as soon as they started with all this Act 167 stuff, I mean, really the engineer went through our ordinances and made sure we were in compliance. Now, if it's gonna be changing and updated, I would imagine they're still responsible.
I mean, given that this is coming from Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, it's their standard practice to be involved with the municipalities and communication.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they basically try to coordinate all the municipalities and bring the municipalities on board. They're an interesting group in the sense that they're a planning committee, but they don't have, as I understand it, they don't have true authority over any township to force anyone to comply with anything. I think they have to try to establish cooperation and make advancements in that regard. They can make recommendations, they can share their opinions publicly and so forth, which they do, but I think they routinely reach out to the townships and municipalities because those are the groups of people whose cooperation they need to advance their agenda.
So they don't have any authority, they just an advisory.
Right. In much the same way one can think of, for example, the landfill expansion recommendation. They can speak out against it,
Right.
but
They have no
they
authority.
don't have true authority to prevent anything from moving forward. That sort.
Well, it looks like the next meeting is on the 15th, just coming up in a couple days at 9 a.m. at the location in Allentown. But it's a repeat of what you,
No, it's a new meeting. I don't know what they're gonna do there, but I'm gonna go and see.
okay. It looks like it might be just the same content, but I'm not sure about that. But,
I guess you'll learn rather quickly, Alan, if their standard practice is to have a couple of meetings devoted to the same thing to accommodate as many participants, or whether this will be a totally different agenda or a follow-up agenda. But you intend to go on.
Yeah. I'll go and find out.
I have some conflicts with work, so I'm not gonna, other clients. And you're right, I do not see on the climate action, it says that there's no upcoming events for that one. So I'll try to keep tabs on this, and as soon as anything's out, if you can let me know if you see it, or
Well,
if they
check
announce.
the website. Just check it, because that's the way I find out. Supposedly I was supposed to get emails, but so far I didn't get any. So I don't know why. I'm gonna find out tomorrow.
Okay,
Is Waterfront in Allentown?
the 15th.
What?
Is Waterfront in Allentown?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
The way I got there is I went out the boulevard, all the way out, crossed over the bridge on the Lehigh River,
Right,
and then the first stoplight is Front Street.
right.
I turned left there, and I went 1 or 2 blocks to East Allen.
East Allen.
And then which way did I turn? I guess I turned left again and went down towards the river,
Right.
and that takes you right down to the building. It's a
Oh.
brand new building.
Okay.
Don't park in the parking lot though, because you gotta get a ticket.
Oh,
And at the end of the meeting, they give you a ticket, and you only have 15 minutes to get out of the parking lot. How do you like that? So I parked in the other parking spaces, and I'm not gonna park in the parking lot. Take me 15 minutes to walk there.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Moving on to other updates, reports, item C, Cooks Creek Watershed Association 50th anniversary, which occurred on July 13th. Jennifer, you have a report on that?
Yeah, it went really well. It was hot as the dickens.
yes, it was.
It was pretty warm.
It was really.
Chad was great with the traffic, with
Throwing pins.
yeah. Yeah, so it was good. A lot of networking with the watersheds and that, so it was very good.
Yeah, it was a
Thank
neat
you
little
for-
event.
and
And
I-
some music. The music was good. You know, all the. I was impressed with the. How do I say this? There's so many divergent communities out there, but this felt like something where a lot of different groups of people
Yes.
that normally wouldn't come together. And when you talk about the people who like to hunt and fish and are 2A advocates in that kind of crowd, meeting with the environmentalists who want to preserve and protect, and then you had, you know, representation from just different organizations that. The game commission and, you know, everybody involved. So it's kind of like you see how this all interrelates
Yeah,
to so many lives and
Yeah.
hobbies and interests,
Right.
and it was nice.
It was very nice.
I see that.
yeah.
The free plants they gave out were great, so I have some of those growing on my deck, some of the
Yep.
grasses that they have. Not everything survived, unfortunately, but I tried to take care of it. And I've been using those dryer sheets that they were handing
yeah.
out too.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
haven't
that's
seen
good.
that. I did the whitewash.
In trying to reduce the amount of, you know, the
Plastic
liquid,
bottles.
the water in your detergent that you're paying for, and the plastic that gets back into the landfill, you know, or the garbage process. And
And if I can
so-
add to that real quick, it actually came through Durham EAC. And so there's so much we can do on simple things like that. I
Right.
mean, they
It's very
promoted
simple.
that, yeah, yeah.
some of the little arts and crafts thing they have. Are
As
really
an,
fun.
as an aside, I just wanted, because we're talking about EAC and cooperation, just remind us all, next Thursday, we've been aware of an EAC group meeting that is gonna be online, right? So
That's
we all have that on our
August
calendars,
23rd.
right?
Allentown, the Allentown EAC on August 23rd at 6:30 p.m.
Oh, when did that come out?
I don't have that.
Yeah.
What
It's in
time?
the email chain. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I know that I'm part of it from.
I have it on my calendar from an
They still
email.
haven't sent a link out, but as soon as they do that, I can forward that to
Please.
the
Yeah,
committee.
please.
What time is it?
Yeah, that was,
6:30 p.m. on August 23rd, and it was the Allentown member Lauren from
Lauren,
Oh, yeah.
EAC who came here, and she's coordinated this as the best time for all different groups in their.
yeah, and I thought she sent that email to our whole email
No,
string.
it was
Okay.
just the people that she had our contact
Okay,
for. Might have
okay.
been you and myself.
Yeah,
So-
you could
I
shoot
should
that.
try, whoever gets to it
Yeah.
first, let's forward that to the rest of us.
Yeah, that would be really exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jennifer, was it Durham, one of the EACs reached out to you at Cooks Creek?
Yeah,
To work together?
yeah, it was the Durham one, and I haven't reached out to him yet, but,
But that's nice.
Yeah.
That's the point.
yeah, exactly, so,
We did a lot of teaching about the landfill.
Yeah,
So the Citizens Responsible Development,
Yeah.
we really touched base with a lot of people, and, you know, a lot of people are not aware, still not aware.
excellent.
Okay, next item
Before you
is,
move on through, I want to say one more thing about what I learned, you know, doing all this research. A lot of people are interested, and there's a lot of legends about what happened at the Friedensville zinc mine when the Saucon Creek went dry. So in the Saucon, Saucon Creek Watershed Saucon Creek Watershed report, you know, that I'm telling you about is on the website, you know, LVPC's website, the Saucon Creek study that was done back in 1991, I guess. They give a whole history of what happened with the water from the Friedensville Zinc Mine and the Saucon Creek. So if anybody's interested,
And where's that information, Alan?
it's in the 1991
Okay.
Saucon Creek watershed report, ordinance report
Okay.
on the website. It's in there.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then that brings us, you're on deck, Kathy, to talk about the waste management, Lower Saucon Township EAC tire recycling, which we have the flyer, and I guess right through today, there's been information exchange and so forth. So if you want to share with us what we need to know.
This is it. Carol was wonderful, because my flyer didn't look anything like this flyer. This one's way prettier. Thank you to Lower Saucon Township Council, thank you to Hellertown Borough. They're gonna give $150 for incentive. I do need help, please. We need someone for traffic. I'm gonna be there, my husband's gonna be there. The company is coming, they have a truck, they have 2 people. I don't know, I've never done it, so I certainly hope it's gonna be very successful. I saw that we've already posted it from Lower Saucon. I saw Hellertown post it, so I'm excited. I hope it works, and if it does, then we can make it an annual thing. We also have to keep tabs. I learned today for the free tires. Where do you live? Do you live in Hellertown or Lower Saucon Township? So they have to show you their driver's license, and I'm just going to go by the honor system. I'm not going to sit here with a map or, you know, if you tell me you live in Hellertown, you live in Hellertown. If you tell me you live in Lower Saucon Township, you live in Lower Saucon Township.
They
all
have
the
to show their
licenses show
driver's
Bethel.
license.
Like for some,
Yeah.
like my address, my license is Hellertown, but I'm Lower Saucon Township.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
And I'm Lower Saucon and it shows Bethel.
so it's gonna be
Can I ask,
honest.
so is it?
That's interesting, that is a real problem.
It is,
Yeah, right.
it is. Now, I suppose, if I wanted to, I could probably ask for an alphabetized list of residents from both.
Yeah, it's
But
probably
I
too
think
much.
to myself, that's a bit much, you know, like,
For a
I'm gonna go on the
$4.
honor roll.
That will create a bottleneck.
Yeah.
That will
I'm
really be
sorry,
problematic.
what you
It could be just like if they have their tax form. And they'll show you
But
that.
it's a discussion, you know, but how thorough should I be? You know, like, I was gonna ask to see your license and ask you for Lower Saucon Township or Hellertown resident. That's as far as I was gonna
Some
go.
people actually don't even know, which is
Well,
scary, but they don't.
if the group
They
thinks
don't.
I should have an alphabetized resident list,
Tell
I
them to
mean,
bring
for the most part,
tell
I
them to
mean,
bring a tax receipt.
a lot,
even
no.
with that,
That's how
like,
you find out where you live.
Well, they don't.
I'm just thinking to myself, what if I mean, I'm really pushing the limits here, but what if I rent a house in Hellertown? I rent the house in Hellertown, so I'm not on the resident list. Like, I don't wanna get that far
Right, right.
into the weeds.
No, that's
Right.
overboard, yeah.
Right, so, I hope I have this problem. I hope I have a bottleneck and there's so many people that, this runs into a snafu.
A positive way of thinking about this too, in my opinion, is so if someone is from outside of our township and they bring tires, those tires are liable to end up on the roads in our township anyway, because
Or in the
if
Lehigh.
someone comes here with tires and you turn them away, those tires are not going home.
Yeah.
My experience tells me they're gonna find one little quiet stretch of some road around here.
And dump,
That's where the tires are gonna end up.
that's true.
So we're solving a good problem and avoiding creating a new one.
To be very frank, I don't care personally if you're from Quakertown, but it is this, the townships are giving us incentive for the first 30
Right.
That's the issue.
So what's the easiest way for you to decide if this person is a resident or not? Just by, if it says Hellertown, if it says 18155, if it's,
Mine says 1055, I'm Lower Saucon.
I understand, but,
I'm just gonna ask,
okay. And
you know,
is this first 30 car
first
tires
30 tires.
for each? So
Correct.
30 Hellertown and 30 Lower Saucon?
Correct.
Not 30 cars,
But-
30 tires.
Correct.
Right.
And then what if somebody shows up with 30 tires?
Well, they only get one
You only get one
coupon, yeah,
per
we weren't gonna
vehicle?
give the
I
multiple.
wasn't getting, the coupons, I don't know how you wanna do that. My thought was, if you bring in
Yeah, I
30
do too.
tires, I'm happy to take your 30 tires.
Right, but I don't think we were gonna give one car all 30 coupons.
Right.
I think
One vehicle,
they
one
would get
coupon,
one,
coupon
I don't
per
think
vehicle.
anybody's
One
gonna
free
come
tire
with 30
per
tires, but
vehicle.
you never know.
I'm
one,
sorry.
one free tire per vehicle for the first 30 vehicles, first 60 vehicles,
Yeah,
basically.
well, that are different. I mean, if
yeah,
the first 60 are all
yeah.
Right, I'm
Lower
trying-
Saucon Township, well then,
So-
no.
We're all saying the same thing, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Let me just start there. This was an incentive, right?
Right.
I can get rid of my tires and the township's gonna pay for it. That's the whole point. I'd rather have your tires than throw them in the Delaware. From there, you know, I was gonna ask you, a Lower Saucon and Howard Town resident, right? I have 2 tires. I'm okay with that, personally. I'm okay with that. I have 10 tires, you know, then if we wanna get into the, well, here's a coupon, I'll give you 2 free tires. Like, I don't wanna get into an argument.
Right.
I want it to be, first of all, I want it to be well attended, but second of all, I want it to be a positive experience.
Right.
So, again, like, I don't know how far down into the weeds to go. And I'm just talking out loud. You show up with 5 tires, do I say to you, when you say to me, well, it says the first 30 car tires, you blah,
Yeah,
blah,
well,
blah,
I wouldn't have worded it like that.
That's part of my
you
confusion.
know, or do I say, well, you know, you brought in 5, you know, we'll let you give 3 for free, or, you know, like,
Yeah.
do I really wanna get that far down in the weeds?
My suggestion would be have a policeman there.
Then I would imagine we would have to pay,
That's staff, yeah,
Yeah.
right?
overtime.
I would
Why
think.
don't-
And you
I
said
think it's
from the
fine.
get-go, it was just volunteers,
Yeah.
which is the way I presented it to everybody.
Yeah,
The one thing is
If
though,
you're
if
gonna
you,
get that nasty and I need a police officer, I'll pay your
Yeah.
$5, okay?
I think it should be one
Well,
per
not only
vehicle,
that, but for
which would be
traffic
the most
control.
fair for everybody who shows up.
yeah, I think so too, one or
yeah,
two
not
per
that the
vehicle,
first guy
something
in the
like
line
that.
could
Right.
use them all.
Because if you
Something
want it to be a
reasonable.
positive experience
Just
and
one.
someone shows up with a truckload of tires, it could happen.
Right.
Everyone in line behind them are like, what, that person got all theirs in for
Yeah.
free and I got nothing?
Right.
That's
You know,
Chris' problem.
I would dole them out in some defensively sensible way.
One per vehicle.
One other thing, can I just say, you're talking about taxpayer money that was donated from the borough and taxpayer money that was donated from the township. So you do wanna have some kind of a list to make it fair that 30 people from the borough
Right.
versus 30 people from the township
Right.
are able to, you know, give a tire. I mean,
So the person verifying the license should be pretty familiar with addresses, I mean, I know a lot of them, but, I mean, we
Yes,
even
you're
have like
coming on
Regalsville, we have Regalsville addresses which are Lower Saucon, so it's like, really, you kinda just have to know what a lot of the roads are.
Yeah, I can come, you know.
Yeah. That's fine, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I think one per person though for each
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
municipality, so, you know, if,
This is a start, you know, where it goes from
We
here.
have to keep a tally anyway,
Right.
so I need a list,
yeah,
like
I mean, I guess if
regardless.
we get to 11:45 and we have 20 coupons left, well, then maybe the last people can have them all.
Yeah, I can
But
see
I have
that.
to be
Like
able
that.
to,
see that, yeah.
They could
for
have
the,
a signed-in sheet.
for the township and for the borough,
Right.
I have to have a list, so you know, this is where the money went, right? And then for her, the woman that's running all it, you know, this is how many tires we collected at the end, so they know how much is in their trunk.
Right.
So I have to do that anyway.
Right at the startup,
Oh.
you might get an estimate, just look at how many vehicles are there to get an idea of, oh man, there's only 5 cars, or there's, you know, better go one per person,
Right,
or
right.
2 per vehicle, sensible. I would make a call on the fly of that sort to decide, but I wouldn't take the very first 30 tires, no matter where they came from, because
Maybe we should
there is a
have
chance.
sign
Right.
sign right up there so there's no confusion.
No, if you can show that you gave the rebate to 30 different residents, I think that goes a lot further, for sure.
Kathy, what I can do is I can get you a list of addresses. That'll be helpful with streets. And then you'll be able to see, if you don't recognize the address, you can page through. But as far as a borough, maybe Kathy can do the same for you too.
Well, I would make an assumption, I'm gonna make an assumption if it's not on the list under Hellertown,
You can do that too.
instead of, you know what I mean? You wanna be
Yeah.
mindful of everybody's time too. If I buy tire, you know, and I'm just again talking out loud, if I bring tires up and I'm waiting in line for 45 minutes, I'm not gonna be very happy. You know, you wanna keep it,
To move it, yeah.
so. I think we're gonna make an adjustment on the flyer.
Yeah,
Okay.
sign-in sheet.
Just let me know, because I put it out, I have it spread out like every couple days already.
So, how about two tire limit per car,
One per vehicle.
one per vehicle?
Because more people will be able to, people will say,
One free per vehicle.
yeah,
One free tire per vehicle.
One
One
free
free
tire.
tire per vehicle for the first 30 residents from, yeah.
And does anyone, now this is just a fun exercise because we don't know, but what do we anticipate? Do we anticipate 30 vehicles from each of these places?
Have no clue.
no clue.
We've never done it before that I know of.
Did this person give you any guidance on the last time they've done a collection event? How many vehicles or tires they collected
She said it
in one?
varies, because they're from Jersey, so she said it just varies.
Varies what?
Some, I didn't ask specific numbers.
Okay.
She just said, you know, some are.
12 to 5,000?
Yeah,
I mean, it varies.
We'll see what we in that
Depends.
It was somewhere in that number.
But it might, if you're back in touch with her again, it might be worthwhile to simply
Yeah, I
ask her,
have
hey,
no
how much
information.
variability, what's,
On
give
how,
it, you know, just to
you know.
get some guidance. You know. Okay, well, we'll assume you're gonna work that out.
I will work it out. Carol and I are.
Especially now that you're a voting member, I mean, what more motivation do you need?
Well, not quite yet.
No, I'm not.
Well, you
voting
will
yet.
be,
You will
after
be.
after
You need some
council.
help for this,
I
though.
do need help. I do
For-
need help. Just in general, like, right, because, Carol had said, you know, you have to direct people, make sure they're gonna come up through the basketball court, come down, I'm gonna have her park right here where we're parking right now in Cidersville Hall, drop off your tires, go on through and go out the bottom.
So if you turn the flyer around and you can
People
see
need
the
to know.
Yeah,
direction.
that's not how
That's
they
one
did it.
Second parking lot so that they can exit.
That's
freely.
one thing I need help for. The next thing I need help for is.
But they're not up at the building,
When we do the
Ciderville, they're in the
electronics,
lower
different.
lot.
Lower line.
It's the
Well,
opposite
truck will
direction
be
and
there,
goes through
but
the
yes.
building.
It goes through the back.
I
Correct.
have,
Yeah.
I have
This
traffic
has nothing
cones.
to do with public
And
works
then
over there.
I need to I gotta write it down, you know, your name and your address, and, you know, cause I have to be able to show both
Want me to
roads.
bring traffic cones? 'Cause I have them.
Sure. You
Don't we
didn't
have
need-
that?
Is Hellertown
They
providing
should have 'em
volunteers?
here, right?
I didn't ask.
I asked for them in an email today. You were on the email,
I
so I asked Roger to provide some, and orange vests as well.
Yeah, she's talking about, yeah, I didn't ask Hellertown for, I mean, I can, I just didn't get that far.
I assume we all have all that stuff for the electronics.
Adopt a road?
No, the electronics event.
Oh, the vests? We
Yeah,
did,
we had
and the
that last
cone.
year, right? And cones,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
But because staff isn't gonna be here, I had to make sure that she was
Oh,
prepared.
I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, they're gonna provide them.
So I do suggest that someone ask Hellertown for some volunteers.
I do too.
I have to reach out to her anyway, to
Okay.
tell her what we discussed tonight. I have to tell her that we decided one free tire per car, so Hellertown knows, and then I can ask her if anybody can help me.
I'll revise that.
Thank you.
One free tire per resident. And then, I'll send that to
for
Kathy
Kathy
directly
for
so that
each
she can put it
place,
on her
yeah.
website and
Right.
I'll replace it throughout where I
Right,
list.
thank you very much.
Perfect.
There's three Kathys. Kathy Harmon, Kathy Gorman, and Kathy Mitchell McGovern. So you have to figure out which one.
Okay.
I will take care, yes.
Okay, Chad, your item is next on the agenda, volunteer sign-up sheet for Fall Clean Earth
Yes.
recycling on
I have
September 28th.
Jennifer and Russ so far.
Okay.
One in the morning, one in the a later section. We probably still need another 1 to 2 people.
I can do that day. I don't have a game.
Okay. My problem is that I did get my
September
son's soccer schedule, and he does have a game in Parkland at 10 in the morning. So I have to figure out what I can do.
I will be out of town that weekend.
I've made a commitment to this beforehand. Maybe I can try to get him dropped off, and then I'll be here first and then leave at 10,
And
maybe, or 10:30 to get to the game. I might be able to do that.
I can probably stay the
So,
whole day.
if anything,
well.
I would probably take the earlier time, and then I would be gone. So I'll probably be in the morning.
But I can do both shifts if I need.
Okay.
Because I know I can't do the October 5th,
Okay.
and I can't do the 14th
Well,
entire
put
one.
yourself down for the afternoon then, not
Okay.
the afternoon, but the second half, and I'll do the other morning one. And
You signed up for the
Afternoon.
You don't want me for,
well, you don't have to be here all day. No,
Okay.
just do the back half.
What
I'll
time
do
is
it.
it?
You signed up for 10:30 to 12:30.
10:30, 12:30.
I have to let you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's going to be what I end up having to do.
And I can always rope in a husband.
Or 2.
Well, I only have one.
Well, I have. We don't live in Utah? You sure? Oh.
Okay, then Kathy, you're back on the table. You have the main item here, determine a date for fall adopt a road cleanup. Do we want to address that now or September?
Can't, because that's the only thing I did print off. This is from Carol. The dates are from, September 6th to November 18th. Why don't we postpone that? We got a lot
Discuss it in
going on
September? Let's wait till
Yeah.
September to
And
discuss it.
I already know October 5th is that EAC network, because I know I have a wedding. I know
Let's talk about this in September. Okay, that's fine.
We gotta find,
It would be challenging for anybody to make a commitment in October, much less
Right.
early November
right,
at this stage of the game.
thank you.
Okay. The Bethlehem landfill fall cleanup for residents is on October 5th. Off the record or on the record, I don't care, but I wish we could have them clean up the air. I don't know what those of us living in that part of the township are, but Kathy and I live very close to one another, and we're smelling that landfill daily,
it is daily.
every day.
We handed out magnets that we have for the DEP, for people to put in their refrigerators with the phone number on it.
I've been
Have that phone number, does anyone have that phone number right now available?
I do.
Speak
I
dial.
have it on speed, yeah.
For
Speed
what?
dial.
Because
I
I
do
intend to,
the online DEP form
Yep.
because it just autofills everything and
Okay.
it's faster that way.
okay, so usually, what web, just DEP,
I have it.
give me a hint just so I can find my way there, because I need to start reporting.
It's I'll give you the number. It's 866-255-5158,
Okay.
then number 2 to do.
Oh, wait, say, hit number 2 then.
Yeah, when they start
Right.
telling you whatever they say.
If you just Google like, Pennsylvania DEP, it pops up at the top, and if you go to environmental complaints,
Okay.
and then once you click there, you have to scroll down a little bit, and it just has a place where it says submit online.
It says
Okay.
file a complaint.
Yeah, file a complaint. So every time,
Okay.
I log almost daily because it's
Yes,
it's
it
a
is.
lot. Yeah, it looks like this, like
Yeah.
submit online.
Okay. I'll find my
And
way
if
through
you
that.
bookmark it,
Right.
then you always have it.
Any of us who are in that smell zone, I encourage us to report all the time.
We do.
I feel remiss that I haven't been, but since we got back from vacation for 4 days, today I haven't been home yet since I left in the morning, but 3 of the 4 days we've had very strong odor.
And I'm still fighting the damn vultures.
The vultures are ever present, always hanging.
Yeah.
I'm getting a permit to hunt them.
Yeah.
Are
And
they
then
doing
the-
something different
All
in the
the way
past
we're
2
doing it.
years?
Yeah.
A year?
Oh,
The
yeah.
burning of the methane methane.
Oh, there's no question, it's landfills.
You know why? Because there's no trees in the landfill, they tore them all down.
I don't know,
So they-
13 years I've been here almost, and I haven't smelled it until maybe about 6 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where we are, it's a new thing.
Lower Saucon and
As they
Alpine.
expanded and have gone up,
Well, the sewage plant doesn't help either. That, I never seen.
Yeah, but those are two
A sewage
totally
plant.
different odors.
yeah, they're different
Two different
odors.
odors, but I never saw a sewage plant reek as much as that one does. That's,
That's because it's overloaded.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I wonder about whether it's scaled up technologically to handle the volume they do.
well, yeah, well, look at all the increase in people.
They don't have any space.
And they're confined, they can't
To get
expand.
bigger.
They're surrounded by the Saucon Creek, they can't move.
Yeah. Okay, item H, this comes to you, Jennifer. We Can Serve PA EAC Fall Gathering.
Yeah, I checked them, and they don't open registration till mid-August, and it's not online yet, so I'll check back.
Okay. Well, we have the September meeting still ahead of us for further discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. And then plastic bag ban, and we discussed this at the last meeting.
I
Did
thought there was
anybody do
gonna-
any follow-through? Do we have anything to discuss?
Well, we're supposed to get an email from her with the link. It's in the minutes. And so, I don't know. From who? The lady that came and spoke, the resident,
I know who you're talking about.
hold
I
on.
thought Laura was gonna talk to
Did I
somebody. and
share,
tell her
I
how-
did talk, to, and I can't think of her name, in Hellertown.
Kathy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kathy, but the resident was, I don't know how you say her name.
Yeah, I don't know how you say her name. She's emailed me a couple times. And also, the guy that was here a couple years ago, saw the article that the newspaper ran about it. They picked it up, and Ferran, I can't remember his name off, Ferran, say?
For Randy?
I could be wrong.
It's not a local resident, no, it's a guy that works with Penn Environment. Saw the article, and then he emailed me, because we had him here a couple years ago, so that's like his thing, helping people put together plans to do this, so
Can
we
you
need to catch up with him.
share his name and?
Yes.
Because I know in the minutes, there is a PA site that helps municipalities how to get.
I'm the
Yeah,
one that
they have
said
uh,
like
that.
model
It's awesome.
ordinances and.
Well, if we can get the link, because I went up and I found plastic PA,
Yeah.
but that's not a government site. It's informative, but they're a nonprofit, so I thought maybe if we could get that, we could start kind of doing some research.
Yes.
But to back up a second, I skimmed the meeting minutes, but I recall you were gonna talk to someone from Hellertown because it had to be a joint effort, because it was gonna be giant.
Well, it doesn't have to be, but they were already talking about it anyway, so it makes sense to try to coordinate, so we're not coming up with different ideas of,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it this way in Hellertown, and it's gonna be a little
Right.
different in Lower Saucon. We would wanna come up with the same game plan and
So is that
timing
something
and all
that
that.
we would have,
Yeah. I did reach out to I
is
texted
that
her.
something that we would have like a subcommittee for, or?
I think so.
Probably, because it'll be a lot of
Research,
discussion and
yeah.
looking up stuff and all that,
Yeah,
so.
we would want to have a subcommittee.
Get something,
Rather than, we don't wanna sit here for an hour and talk about it.
right.
And
And
just
I
bring
don't
our
know if
results.
everybody's aware, this Thursday is the hearing in Northampton County against the dump. For the
Is it on Thursday?
Thursday at 9 a.m., Northampton County Courthouse, room 10, for the easements. And this is the big one, because all the attorneys from the local Bethlehem Township, St. Luke's, we're all gonna be there. We need everybody that we can have there for support, because if nobody shows up, it's gonna look poor on our part. So we're trying to get as many people there as we can. But this is the big one for the easement, because if the easement is approved, then they can't move. So hopefully.
Okay, maybe I would ask you to share with all of us via email where this location and time is?
Yeah, Northampton County Courthouse,
That's
Yeah.
the guy.
this, in Easton. Yeah, and courtroom 10 at 9 AM.
Yeah, I have it.
Really important, everybody, spread it around, everybody can be there.
Courtroom 10.
Courtroom 10.
Thank you. Okay, so let me try to see where we are again here. I got caught up with forwarding something to all of you, so I'm a little bit out of whack. Okay, so then we should, with respect to plastic bag ban, we're gonna try to get more information.
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm about to do in 1 second, once I get Chad here, okay, we had this conversation about next Thursday. Lauren House was the young woman's name from Allentown EAC. I just dug out that email from her telling us that this is gonna be scheduled for next Thursday. So I'm just gonna forward that email to all of you. So you can get on, email her to find out, to get the link for the Zoom. And if you want and can participate, you'll have the contact now, okay?
Okay.
Okay, the next order of business at this stage of the game is the review and approval of the July 9th minutes. I'm sure that no one wants to stay here until midnight doing that, so I did send an email around to everyone earlier. I don't know how many pages I sent you, Carol, but there was about 4 pages or 5 pages. I went through, so we can evaluate the minutes on page 1, certainly, because a lot of that was Lauren House. So if anybody had anything there, let's do that and tell Carol. I didn't find anything on that page. To save us all time, I would say we probably should and could skip reviewing today individually pages 2 through 10, because that, those pages included me speaking, giving my presentation. So I went through that carefully and created a document, a Word document that I emailed to Carol with all the corrections. The other issue was open space. Once again, that was me on page 10. So I went through that, likewise made a change for Carol. So for the sake of simplicity, I suggest we go to page 11 and then go through, and anybody raise the attention to Carol of any things we caught on pages 11 through the rest of the minutes. On page 11, I think line 36 properly should be probably. And that's all I had on that page. So anybody who has anything going forward, page 11 onward, let's just speak up and
I found a couple for myself. I'm not.
I marked that up, I'm gonna give it to Carol.
Okay, very good. I think that's the best way for us to go when we do that, and so we're not reliving that entire meeting tonight.
I only looked at my own, so.
Yeah, on page 12, line 11, I think we can scratch the words "it'll pop." And then,
Like these little typos that you just, and I'm.
It's not verbatim to what
Yeah.
I said,
Not
where I read it,
close,
but
Yeah.
I'm not bothered by.
okay, any of that, then we're fine with.
I'm not gonna go, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not gonna change any, I mean, really, again, substantive things that we normally focus on, but basically, then if Alan, if you hand your comments to Carol, as I did, I think that's good, and if anybody, I think our natural tendency is to look at our own statements. It's very useful to have the minutes. I applaud you for having the minutes done with our names as the speakers, because then it allows us to direct our attention, because we all know what we said, and we may not remember exactly what someone else said. So are there any other comments that people want to share with Carol tonight? Thanks, Alan, for doing that in writing, and I'll try not to speak as much because I learned my lesson after that presentation. It took me hours to read through and type up the document that I created.
Well,
I mean hours, and I don't mean 2.
it was good though. I enjoyed it. Yes.
I'm gonna record that as a book.
Knowledge definitely increased.
I always like to talk, I just don't like to review what I say.
When are we gonna see the corrected ones, Carol? I mean, where will they be? Up on the website, or are you gonna print them
No,
out
we
and
have
give it
to
to
approve
us?
them.
It depends how you, put your motion. If you're gonna put the motion as though you're gonna approve with corrections,
I would say.
correct tomorrow and I would put on the website.
On the website.
So, and that's what we
where they
always
are.
do, so
Yeah.
I move that we accept the minutes as corrected by any correspondence of corrections to Carol occurring tonight or at this
Yeah,
meeting.
that sounds good.
I second. I second.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Okay, that brings us to adjournment.
I have a question
Oh,
though.
yes, I'm sorry.
So did we have a last batch though? Remember we had that batch with the million
Yeah.
changes? Where did those go?
They were, all the minutes, they're
Oh, I
on the
wanted that
website.
thing. Come on.
All the corrections were done and it was put on the website.
Okay. I kinda thought we gave up at the end. I don't know that we
Oh,
ever
I thought we
actually
did.
approved them.
Yeah, I need one too.
I we didn't tell you to shut up. I
Okay.
think we just got tired.
It was late.
I just didn't know if we actually approved them or what we did at the
You
end of
have
that.
one?
I do have one.
Okay, yeah, because I'll need
So
one.
obviously they got the corrections.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Okay, a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Oh, young man, did you have an opportunity to bring anything to our attention you wish to bring?
You had mentioned, I wasn't sure whether to bring this up in the middle or after you had spoken about the plastic bag ban. I did want to say that there is a resource online called Plastic Bag Laws. I can give someone the information if you'd like it, but it's actually from a lawyer who has worked with counties to develop plastic bag ban laws. So if that's something you're interested in, I can give that to someone.
And you, I'm sorry, I should have asked you to identify yourself.
Oh, sorry. My name's Sam Sowell. I'm technically a resident of Hellertown, so I don't know if I'm able to speak here, but
You are.
You're welcome.
This is the one.
Okay, yes.
that was,
Yeah, and I think it would be helpful to share that information with Carol Schneider. Her contact is available on the township website. All right?
Love to have it.
Yeah.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sitting through all this to share that information. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I just wanted to sit in and listen as well.
Okay. Very good.
You want this?
Yeah, I'd like to have this.
This is what
So does this voting membership
Bill
happen
thing.
now already, or we
Saucon
gotta wait for the
Creek
township
watershed.
to?
19.
Well, then your second
Yeah,
doesn't
probably the
count.
first one.
Okay.
All right, these over here, they
But don't tell anyone.
updated like some of the numbers. That's what it seemed to me like. But they still made a whole new ordinance.
Yeah. Hey Kathy, I was pleased, I've been away, as you know, but I was pleased to see someone grab